You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Time to fire up the VCR. This one's my favorite. That was gold.
Welcome to Analog Jones and the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
And I'm Matt.
And we're a VHS podcast that looks at the trailers, box art, and behind the scenes. And this is episode 100. Oops, actually it's 101.
We just got too ahead of ourselves. We just went with the flow. We just kept going, and we hit a milestone and didn't even fucking know it.
Yeah. It was the San Diego Comic-Con one that threw me for a loop. Because I was like, oh, Matt, we got to do number 100. And then as soon as I saw Child's Play 3 went up, and it had, congratulations, you've hit 100 episodes. I was like, oh, we're idiots.
Well, this is our 101. You know, we made it to 100, so that's why we're celebrating now.
Pop the champagne.
Yes.
I don't have any, but just pretend.
Yes. We'll pop our waters over here,
yeah. And coffee.
Waters and coffee as we take us to an Indiana Jones tale.
Oh, the very first one. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
For nearly 3,000 years, man has searched for the Lost Ark of the Covenant.
The Bible speaks of the Ark leveling mountains and laying waste to entire regions. Not something to be taken lightly. No one knows its secrets.
Jones, do you realize what the Ark is? It's a transmitter. It's a radio for speaking to God.
An army which carries the Ark before it is invincible.
The Ark, if it is their Eternis, then it is something that man was not meant to disturb.
It is protected by forces beyond imagination. It is desired above all treasures on earth by those who are good, trust me, and those who are evil.
I'll tell you everything. Yes, I know you will.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Let her go.
We have no time. If you still want the Ark, it is being loaded onto a truck for Cairo.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. A film from Steven Spielberg and George Lucas.
We figured we would do something Indiana Jones for our celebratory episode since we stole the name from them. So
Steal is such a correct word.
Yeah, and then Raiders. I mean, it's the ultimate classic. So we went to it. That's the one we went for.
Yeah, and we're just like Lucas. We just steal shit from other stuff and then make it our own.
Yeah, but you know what? If it works, it works.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
The people seem to like it, so.
Yeah. No, I like what he does. I don't really care. Well, until we got to the prequels when he should have stole stuff. Then we figure out, I was like, man, when Lucas has his own creative freedom, like 100%, shit goes haywire.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I like we grew up on the stuff like the Star Warses and the Indiana Jones, so we can't fault the guy or the Howard the Ducks. If
Yeah,
you're in my
I
household.
knew. Yes, the real classic Howard the Duck.
Yeah, he kind of turned his back on us later. So I'm not a Lucas hater. I just I don't like the prequels. So
yeah, I think they're too stupid. But we're not here to shit on the prequels. We could, but we're not.
Right.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark is just, man, as soon as it comes on, the Paramount logo does that whole thing with the mountain, which apparently that's how Paramount got their new logo. Well, new in like the 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just nostalgia hits me every time. I just smile.
Yeah, no, like when the movie starts, I mean, we'll get into it when we get into the movie, but like just when the movie starts, like with the logo and the credits and this like the jungle, it's a movie. You know what I mean? Like you watch stuff nowadays, you're like, all right, I see what you see right through it. This is like the magic of movies. This teleports you immediately.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's because it obviously it's shot well with Spielberg behind the camera, well, and his team. Before Amblin was formed, but I mean, this is basically a lot of the same people, Frank Marshall and yada yada yada, all the way down. I believe he's using his original cinematographer before
Janusz came into play.
Yeah,
it doesn't say the DP on the back here, so I don't know who it is.
Whatever. But
we
still,
could have done research, but fuck
it. This is 101. We don't want to change. We do bare minimum research.
Yeah, right. For our 101st episode, we're going to become an academic podcast. Here we go. Here's my papers I've brought in for this.
Yes. The shot, number 101. And if you look at the timestamp, it's 1459. It's like, no, that's never going to happen. But there are beautiful shots all through this. And they're so simple.
Yes, this is why, Spielberg raised a generation of movie fans. It's captivating stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. And as a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, however old you were when you saw this movie, like, it hooks you. And Spielberg made a whole generation fall in love with movies, and it's because of stuff like this.
Yeah, and it's very old Hollywood cinematography, too. Like, when Indiana Jones, whips his whip to get the knock the gun out of the guy's hand, and then he turns into frame with the light.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's so silent film, golden age of Hollywood, where it wasn't so much about dialogue or anything. It's all visuals because that's all they had.
Yeah, I think what this series does really well, and this is the whole series, and I include Kingdom of the Crystal Skull here. Like, what they do really well is sort of capture the time period in which the movies are taking place. So this being a 40s movie has that big Hollywood 40s feel to it. Like, Temple of Doom being a 30s movie feels a little old, feels like those 30s adventure movies. And then, Crystal Skull set in the 50s, and it feels like a 50s sci-fi movie. Like, take it or leave it whether you like it or not. But, they all four of them capture the feel of the time period they're set in.
Yeah, they do really well. And this one also with the sound effects, like Indiana Jones's punch,
yeah,
like how it's just really big and over the top. I feel that's probably because that's what they were used to watching on their old, Spielberg and Lucas growing up on these old serial, quick, dirty shot
adventure
TV
things,
series, and everything like that. And that's basically what this movie is they glued it all together, got a bunch of guys in a room over a weekend and, hammered it out.
Like I said, and then that in turn spun a whole new generation of film fans, filmmakers that saw this first and, have taken the Spielberg approach now to these type of adventure movies.
Mm-hmm. The Spielberg, I don't want to say ripoff, but the Spielberg, ripple effect into filmmakers.
Yeah.
It's just all over the place. And it's so woven into directors and cinematography now that it's hard to even tell what is Spielberg and what's original anymore. When I see shots, one of the ones, anytime you see a shot where someone goes over a cliff and then the camera holds and then you see their hand grab it, and to me that's always Spielberg.
Yeah, the Spielberg, the classic Spielberg shot for me is always the zoom in on the face, the hero shot. Is he coined that, and I've seen it since used by other filmmakers, but Spielberg just does it the best of anybody.
Yeah, he's got so many that you could do an entire podcast. We could find all the Spielbergian shots.
Yeah, we always end up talking about Spielberg anyway. This is the New Line Spielberg podcast. So it's we always come back to it, but it's because it was a whole new generation for us. It was a whole new generation of film fandom.
Yeah, and his backlighting. I always noticed that, too, in Spielberg films. And you can even see it in the stills that they have on the back. Because Spielberg shoots a lot of stuff, a lot of his older stuff, they were always on sets.
Yeah.
And he was, the king of getting a team together to build sets that are clearly sets in my mind, but they're so damn good I don't care.
Yeah, to me, it's like movie magic. You know, like I want to be on that set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could taste the fog machine running. You know, like I want to be there for that.
But he always does like the old glamour Hollywood lighting, and I don't think people ever really notice until we got into like the '90s Spielberg, which turned into a little bit different.
Yeah,
you know, like but Jurassic Park even still had it when they were lighting the T-Rex. I feel like because of CG in a certain point and a lot of post added, like a lot of filmmakers just, it's not that they didn't know to do it, they didn't.
Well, they're
lighting,
like,
oh, fix it in post.
They're lighting for CGI, not lighting for the camera anymore. You know,
there you go. They're not lighting for film anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you see Tarantino, who only shoots on film, and his lighting is beautiful in all of his movies, and I feel like that's just a dying art because it doesn't need to be done.
Yeah, we got like the last of like the Scorseses and Tarantinos and stuff carrying the torch for film, but it's now even Spielberg is shooting so much digital now. It's a shame.
Because I didn't really like 1980s, 70s throw up on film. What was that film called?
Oh, Ready Player One.
Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't
cute,
that.
but...
But I think
it's not like it's not like this, you know. It's not like where I'm like, oh my god, this is a Spielberg classic. But it's fine.
I know. I just don't like it. I've never watched it since. I think I was like, oh, this is kind of good. This is mostly bad. But now I'm like, after watching this, I'm like, I don't care.
This is the OG. This is where it all came from.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll just, okay, here's a stupid question. Hey, Matt, if you're a kid in the video store, do you rent this?
Oh, yeah. And I probably didn't even have to rent this. This was probably somewhere in my family already. You know, like somebody owned this. I had seen, this is just one that kids in the 90s when I grew up just knew about. There was no renting this. Somebody you knew, some uncle, some grandparent, some parent owned this already. So, like, this was already in the pantheon in the 90s. But if I, for whatever reason, grew up in, like, some, like, Mormon community or something and I saw this cover, then, yeah, maybe I'd pick it up on a whim. But I just feel like I already knew it existed before that. Our cover here is just as rare as the Lost Ark. We're watching because we actually did do some research on this. We're watching the '93 re-release of this black cover, and then kind of centralized. We have like the painted poster image of Indiana Jones with his whip, and then like all the supporting characters kind of surrounding him with the jungle tomb background. Painted image. I mean, this would have, if I heard nothing about this movie, I would have absolutely been like, what is this? What is this magical thing that I have to check out? Yeah,
Richard Amsel did the cover to this, which he had a really short, prolific career when it came to posters. He did like The Sting. That's one of his most famous ones, but because a lot of people think it's Drew Struzan. And I mean, I own one of Drew Struzan's, not his original, but like a reprint of The Temple of Doom. When you come into my apartment, that's when Drew started like really taking off. And from what I always remember, it was like the 83 and on.
Mm-hmm. So this was a little bit before him. This was a different painted artist.
Yeah, but he was. Designer. It's funny too because I've read an interview with him. I don't know when he passed, but he was always inspired by the old 40s. So it's like they just. Not only did they get, Spielberg, Lucas, Frank Marshall, all these people get together and they knew what type of movie, but everyone was so on board and on the same team that even their artist was influenced by old Hollywood posters. And it's just like everything about this movie just was right.
Yeah, it's like when you have somebody, because 81 at this point, Spielberg had all the power that he wanted. They had all the power that he could possibly want in Hollywood because of Jaws and everything like that. So like, when you have a director with that much saying like, I'm gonna do this homage thing, all the pieces better fall into place. It's easy nowadays for somebody with making a movie in their backyard with a camera saying like, oh, I'm gonna do an 80s send up, but like you're not gonna have like a power team of people all on the same page like Spielberg could pull in 81.
Well, it's funny. So most major production companies turned this down, and I thought the same thing you did too. And then I when I watched the documentary last night, while drinking a martini, by the way. Totally on purpose. A dirty martini, by the way. I hate olives, but I love dirty martinis because I like the olive brine. There's a little bit of fact on Steve. Now you've been educated.
I'm the same way, actually. I'm not a big drinker anymore these days, but I like a dirty martini because I love olives, though.
Yeah,
so,
I love the olive brine.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it really is salty.
Yeah.
Anywho, back to the movie.
We're just gonna start a martini podcast now. That's the next step. That's the next evolution in Analog Jones. We're just gonna talk about martinis and drinks, maybe the occasional other drinks.
And then we'll have the Jersey Ghouls on, so we can talk about VHS porn.
Oh, okay. Is that the next step? Okay.
That's what Marissa. I don't know if Jackie. Well, maybe I don't know who came up with the origin of that, Jackie or Marissa, but they decided, hey, let's start reviewing old VHS porn. And then I had to break their hearts with, that shit's expensive.
It's true. It's true. Anytime I've seen it at resale shops, it is.
Yeah, they're like $75.
They're like, because they're like the golden age of porn. So
yeah,
like,
not only that, but they only printed probably like 3,000 units.
That's true. Yeah, they were going to video like rental stores. People weren't really like owning a lot of those. And
they're probably finding them in old, creepy, now dead uncles' basements.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yummy.
How the hell
used up old porn.
So back to Indiana Jones.
Yeah, right. A lot of tangents.
Where the fuck was I at? I don't remember.
You watched the documentary?
Oh, I watched the documentary, and so what happened was, Spielberg was obviously had his Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but he was coming off in 1941, and all of his movies had gone over budget and over time. I mean, Jaws was over 100 days. 1941 was an absolute mess, which I have not watched in a really long time. But so when he got together, I guess Lucas and Spielberg were both on vacation. Lucas had gone to Hawaii to escape Star Wars. He wanted to go to somewhere where people didn't know him. And same thing with Spielberg off of Third Kind. What am I thinking of? Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So they had got together, and he goes, if we're going to do this, because Spielberg wanted to do a Bond movie. And then, Lucas was like, no, I got a better Bond hero. And then he explained it to him, and Spielberg was like, oh, that's great. It's like Bond without all the gadgets. So, but they both agreed this has to be shot dirty and quick. Spielberg wanted to go back into Hollywood with, look, I can shoot a movie on time and under budget, or at least for the budget that we originally agreed to. So a lot of distributors turned this down, a lot of production companies, but luckily they knew Frank Marshall. And I guess when they got all together to hammer it all out, it was on agreement, hey, we'll do this movie. And I think there was a little bit of a handshake to do all three. But the only way I think Paramount would do that is if Spielberg agreed to it. And Spielberg didn't want to do that. He didn't want to work on all three of them. He just wanted to do a movie and go.
Yeah.
That's actually a lot of... Spielberg does that a lot. He doesn't like to do a ton of sequels from, at least at one point in his career.
Yeah, I mean, because it's these and Lost World that he's done? I can't think of any others.
Well, because they wanted him to do Jaws 2
Yeah.
so badly, but he's like, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. If we ever do that movie, that's one of his best behind the scenes stories ever. But, that's the way it was. But I guess when Paramount's like, okay, Lucas has already, I'm doing air quotes, wrote the scripts and stories for 2 and 3, which he didn't. It was a complete lie, which he admitted in the future. But, they had all three of them. They, had the Frank Marshall, Paramount, Lucas, and Spielberg were all on board. And that's how this actually got going.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Some education. See, I remember watching any documentaries on these movies. I'd seen the Spielberg documentary, the HBO one, which
I still haven't watched.
Excellent. But they talk more about him than sort of the process. So
let me guess, daddy issues?
Oh, of course. Yeah. He's always looking for his father. But spoiler alert, they're good now. So
his dad's still alive?
Yeah.
Wow, that's some good genes.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
or if he was, they made amends before he died, but I think he was alive for a long time. If he's not still alive, whatever. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. I watched this yesterday, though, so I'm fresh to talk about it.
That's funny. So did I.
I guess I'll read the back here in case you guys don't know what Raiders of the Lost Ark is about. But yeah, first I'll mention when you flip over to the back here, there's some incredibly lit filmic images on the back of like Harrison Ford and Karen Allen tied to the post from the end of the movie, and then like the Indiana Jones exploring the one cave thing. It definitely captures the look and feel of what the whole movie is like.
I actually drew that photo where they're on the pole right there when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
This is not my original because that was destroyed in the flood of the 90s in my parents' basement. But yeah, when I bought this has to be the same one we had because this was a 93?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we had the 86. Maybe they just had the same photo in the back. But I've drawn that exact production still right there.
It's a good image.
Yep.
And it made you the artist you are today.
Well, yeah, sure. It probably wasn't very good, but
gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, gotta learn.
Here's our description. This is it. Harrison Ford and filmmaker Steven Spielberg and George Lucas team in the first Indiana Jones movie and set the whirlwind tone for Indy's adventures to come. Here you'll find archaeologist Jones up to his neck in danger, and snakes alive, up to his kneecaps in squirming reptiles. Indy hates snakes. He hates Nazis, too, and he'll stop at nothing to keep those goose-stepping goons from obtaining the mystical Ark of the Covenant. Hang on and enjoy. And then a review from Roger Ebert, the most incredible series of action and stunt set pieces I've ever seen in a movie.
All right. Yeah. So simple. That's just... Don't make it long. Let's get right into the movie. You're gonna rent it anyway.
Yeah, like they're just doing like a silly, action adventure. Come see it,
Yeah, doing the old man. Come see Indy take on the Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing here, and that's fun. It's cute.
That's awesome.
I don't think I've ever read the description on the back because if this is getting pulled out, I'm just watching it.
What's the price tag on that?
$1.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I bought this maybe in Omaha when I can't wait to go back to Omaha to go back to Dave's or whatever, like old VHS shop where there's just like they're $1 each. I'm like, man.
And he hit a lot, right? Because he came back with like a fat stack.
Yeah, and he told me, I got more in the back.
Like, don't tell me that.
I don't. I'm gonna bring an entire just extra luggage.
Yeah, right.
Carry back. Sarah will kill me. How much does that cost? An extra $40. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put this tape in.
And now, our feature presentation.
Sadly, we're going straight to the feature presentation because there's nothing on this.
I wonder if it's just they're saving tape because it's too long of a movie or something. And 2 hours, they were like, we're just doing the movie here.
Yeah, this movie's longer than I remember.
You don't feel it though.
No.
I never checked the clock when I watched this movie.
I only checked the clock at the beginning because I don't know. I paused it or something, and then maybe I paused it at the end. And I was like, it's already at 2 hours. Wow. Because it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes?
No, it's 2 hours.
Is it 2 hours?
Yeah. It's 5 minutes shy of 2 hours.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, it's like you get towards the end and you're like, fuck, we're like almost over. How'd that happen?
Well, see, that's the thing is, I think when you guess a movie time like I just did, because I just didn't feel it. It just went.
Yeah, it does. It just it moves. And I'm just like transfixed by the movie, and I'm immediately like a child again.
Yeah, and I think the movie moves so well because it just feels like they're constantly running.
Yeah, that's true. There's always an adventure. There's always an adventure happening in the movie.
There's hardly any. There's like run, rest, run, rest.
I'd say the slowest we take the movie is from the classroom to like when he sets out on the adventure, like that little 10-minute stretch at the very beginning. That's about the only time we stop, but that's all your exposition. That's all the things you're gonna need to, the filmmakers are giving you all the tools, and then they're like, all right, we're going on the adventure, and then the movie never stops.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, right at the beginning, and every Indiana Jones too does this. It's where the very beginning is just like a different storyline, like the end of that storyline, and then we have a little bit of a rest for setup, and then we go into our main storyline.
Our big adventure, yep.
Yeah.
They all do that.
And it's really simple, and it works. It just really does. And it always feels like a TV show. Obviously, that's what they're basing this off of. But I guess yesterday I put it all together. I'm like, oh, yeah.
They're doing like a last week on, and then they catch you up, and then we do the next adventure. Like, yeah, absolutely. That's totally what they're doing here.
Yeah, and this one's first adventure is just getting... I don't even know what country that is, to be honest. I forgot.
I don't think it says.
Is it just a mystery?
Yeah, it's some jungle. They're in the jungle.
Yeah, and I guess it's like a religious relic. But, you know, he goes through and there's so many iconic scenes. The first one is him revealing himself after whipping the gun out of the guy's hand. He comes from the darkness to reveal him. And you could tell that was shot quick and dirty, exactly how they wanted it.
Yeah.
I love Spielberg in this because this is when he really captured his fast shooting. It's like, oh, we got it done in 4? Done. Go. Let's move.
It's good. It's good. And then we get the ball, of course, you know.
Well, we get the idol, too, where he does the sand. And I heard how they got the sand shot. It's because it shows him looking at the idol, and then he kind of looks at the bag of sand, and he was about to take it out. Initially, it was just going to be that shot, and then they're going to put it. But I guess someone saw the background where Indy does the sand, and so they switched the camera. So now you're looking at the idol from like Indy's hip view, where he just takes the sand out of his hand. It's a beautiful shot, and that was not planned.
That's the genius of Spielberg. Yeah, every time.
And this is when Spielberg really started to use storyboards a lot because it helped him from going over budget.
Yeah, put all the shots out there already, so we can be ready for it.
Got to get this one. It's funny too because that's such part of film now, more part of animation, and that's why animation has basically no extra scenes. It's because everything's already mapped out. Marvel does it too with their fight scenes.
You have to.
Yeah, because that's insane what they do. But yeah, this is where he really started to use it.
Yeah, and it works.
Yeah.
It shows.
Yeah. Then we had the ball,
and it's also iconic. How many times have we seen this spoofed or referenced, whatever?
Countless.
This is iconic. I can't imagine Can you imagine being that one of the first that Friday night, one of the first audiences to see that at whatever theater you were going to see it at? I don't even think there were multiplexes yet. Whatever big movie palace you were seeing this at, and that all happens. What?
No, and this is before cell phones, so you had to wait until Monday to go to school to tell all your friends about this amazing movie that you just saw.
Right.
There's a giant ball and he was running from it, and everyone would be like, "Sure, Matt."
And then you see it, and you're like, "What the fuck? This is crazy."
Yeah.
Watching this though, on VHS, I can say for certain that it's been a very long time since I've seen this on VHS. This is one of those ones that I don't always come back to the tape for this one. In fact, I think I've seen this one most recently. I've seen this a couple times in theaters. So I'm kind of more used to the big widescreen. So seeing it in this kind of stretched full frame was kind of crazy because I hadn't seen it like that in a long time.
Yeah, and I watched it on a big screen, but I had to stop. I took the tape out because I had to record for you and send it to you. So I had to take it out. It was really hard to watch on the big screen up front.
I watched it on the big TV too, and it was weird.
Yeah.
It was a weird, and it just this is not one. You could pop in a tape of E.T., and that's how I grew up watching that movie. I'm used to seeing that, but this one, I feel like I wasn't used to seeing it look like this.
No, it was much better to watch on my computer monitor.
Mm-hmm.
It's
smaller.
It's smaller. It looked natural, I guess you could say. That'd be funny to show a kid nowadays. The 4:3 of this, what they would think.
It's fun. I would show my kid something example E.T. on VHS, but I don't think I would do that for this. I'd be like, no. You got to see it in widescreen. You got to you got to see it the filmmaker intent, the theatrical way, I guess.
Yeah, apparently the laser disc for Raiders of the Lost Ark is incredible because it's so good to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was on, what do they call it? Is it called Pan and Scan? Where it's...
No, Letterbox.
No, Letterbox, yeah. Apparently it's amazing.
I believe it. I mean, Laserdisc was better than DVD, and DVD won out that battle, so I believe it.
That's what happens when you only have one and it's tiny.
Yeah, exactly. But apparently, like a lot of the Laserdisc movies like this are better.
Yeah, because this would be like 2 Laserdiscs that would have to come in it. I've never been a Laserdisc collector.
No, I've seen maybe one, well, two. I think I saw Gremlins on Laserdisc, and I saw The Frighteners on Laserdisc, because The Frighteners is one that looks better on Laserdisc.
Oh, I didn't.
Anything.
Yeah, didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a good looking disc, and that's how you could get the director's cut for the longest time too. Is the laser? That's why I had seen it that way. Now that's out on Blu-ray.
Pan and scan, is that 4x3?
Yeah, that's when they're literally panning over to see the widescreen.
Yeah, that's why they call it pan and scan, because they basically take the tape and then pan it over, and that's why it always looks a little odd.
Yeah, because it's like not a natural camera movement. Yeah. You are literally moving along the widescreen. Yeah, to put it in a 4:3 frame. I love pan and scan though for some movies. I think it's fucking hilarious. Like it's because it's like revealing. So, you know, like you could plan a joke really well in a pan and scan.
Oh, for comedy, pan and scan's amazing. Yeah. But when it comes to like drama, pan and scan always takes me out of it because it feels weird.
Yeah, it is. It's like especially if it's like a really deep widescreen and they're just like really panning over.
Yeah, and I feel like they have to slow down the film just a little bit to scan over to get the timing
right.
So I remember, I think I've seen pan and scan in like maybe it was The Godfather Part 2 on VHS, where it was like a big dramatic part and they just like pan over to it. It kind of feels like comedic.
It does, yeah, because I'm used to seeing it in comedies.
Yeah, like you could have panned over and it been like, you killed my whatever, and then pans over and he's like, and now I'm a clown.
Yeah, right. I just watched that for the other podcast on VHS because it's, you know, how we could afford it, but like, it was cheaper that way. So I just saw that pan and scan very recently.
Yeah. So was there a scene like that where?
Yeah, there's pan and scan on that tape. Yeah,
that's what I thought. It's funny how you always relate a type of movie to a movie. You know, like when you just said pan and scan. Mine is Godfather 2. But you know, I'm sure you have a few others.
Yeah, I think like the one that came to mind when I said comedy, because it was shot in such like a deep widescreen, was that Michael Keaton movie Multiplicity, where he's
yeah,
they had it it was like a 2:35 like really deep widescreen, and that pan and scan was crazy, but it was a comedy, so it worked. But every shot was fucking pan and scan in that movie.
So I take it on DVD. It's you know, just laid out there widescreen.
Yeah, right.
So, you know what I've always wondered, and now we're getting, I mean, since it's episode 101, we're getting more into like a discussion on our VHSs and old and everything like that. Is there a DVD out there on 4:3 aspect that has pan and scan in there? Like they were too lazy to make it widescreen. I'd like to. Oh
yeah,
I'm sure there has to be.
MGM was the worst at that when the DVDs first came out, because I think the first Terminator, you know, it should be widescreen, it should be big, it should be loud. The first version they put out on there, they put the fake widescreen bars in, but it was still 2:35, or not 2:3, it was still 4:3, so there was still pan and scan in the DVD of it.
Oh, that's awful. Death Wish 3, which hopefully we'll rewatch, you know, we'll watch with Alex going through our Death Wish 3 and on down, or no, 5 and on down. Or whatever.
No, remaking on down.
6 and on down with him to reveal them. That one, wait until you see the headroom in that.
That's hilarious.
It's
not meant for full screen.
Well, no, it's. I don't know how they did it, because it's shot so poorly in like talking scenes.
I wonder if they just opened the mat where they just took the bars off, so it was just like all the headroom that they like accounted. They didn't account for actually showing. You know,
I think it would have to be something like that, right?
Yeah, that's how like boom mics get into so many VHSs, when they just take the mat off instead of stretching the image.
Yeah, like oops, did no one watch this before we put it on film? Fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this gorgeous movie. We found a way to get Death Wish 3 into our Indiana Jones discussion. That's amazing.
Yep, of course. Well, I think this is, like you said, this is perfect. That we're like, it's about Indiana Jones, but this is like a good episode about like tapes. We're talking about tapes because it's 101, baby. We gotta. It's our thing.
Yeah, I mean, and the history too of like VHSs, how they were put on like actual VHSs, and then what type of VCRs we had in the early 80s to mid 80s. Like, the adventure of VHS is crazy.
Yeah. Even when we were looking this up, like, it looked like the first release of this was 86, so that was 5 years from the movie's theatrical run till it was finally able to be taken home, and that was because it was after Temple of Doom, when Temple of Doom came out on VHS.
Yeah, and then we saw the Australia. Did you mention that?
No.
The Australia 84 clamshell. So this is weird, because I've never seen this in the U.S. Maybe it has happened. But their clamshell in 84 for Raiders of the Lost Ark has an advertisement saying, "Look out for Temple of Doom in theaters this summer."
Mm.
That's so odd.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of like that is not on a VHS at all. It's like, remember when they re-released Empire Strikes Back, and they were like, "Coming soon, Revenge of the Jedi," when it was still called that, and it had it in the bottom corner of the poster. That's a poster, though. That
makes sense.
Yeah, that's not like a VHS, but it's kind of funny. Like, you would take home, like, it's like they didn't have like the long run in mind. Like, you would take that home. If you have that for years, it's still going to just say coming soon. Yeah. Coming summer 84, Temple of Doom. But like, it's only good for a year of that run of that VHS. And then it's just old news.
Yeah, that reminds me. I saw someone a long time ago have a Back to the Future 2 and 3 poster where, you know how they were filmed back to back. And it was like maybe a teaser poster where it's just like, look for both of them. And I've always wanted that one, because it like splits it in half with both of those movies. And you know how each one of those movies are all looking out of the DeLorean.
Yeah.
How they're 1 foot out, kind of like RoboCop.
Yeah.
It is. But I've always wanted that. But that reminds me of that, just like those old teaser posters.
Yeah, that would like advertise the next thing to come.
Yeah, because you'd walk into the hallway.
But what excitement.
I know.
Can you imagine walking into a multiplex and no internet, never knowing that like there was going to be a Back to the Future 2, and then you see a poster for 2 and 3, and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was so exciting back then when you were young, and calling your friends on the phone to tell them about a trailer that you saw.
Yeah.
For a movie coming out, and I was always the king of forgetting when it came out. So you'd be like, when does it come out? No clue. I don't know.
I saw the trailer, but I don't know.
I can describe
it's coming out.
But you couldn't find out. It was all a giant mystery.
Yeah, unless you were like a Fangoria reader and it was like specifically horror, Starlog, one of those. Like, unless you were like kind of one of those nerds, like, you didn't know. You just had to rely on the poster or and being, a little younger, even as a 90s kid, it still was like that until probably about the year 2000 when like the internet really blew up. But in all throughout the 90s, it still was the same thing. It'd be like, when's episode 1 coming out? And then that fucking trailer and poster dropped, and it was like,
yeah, I've never felt, I got goosebumps when I saw the first Phantom Menace trailer. The excitement level for all these nerds that like didn't have Star Wars, because I never knew what it felt like to get a new Star Wars. Neither did you, obviously. No. You weren't born. I was alive, but I was so little it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I was born in 82. So what? Empire came out
80,
and then Jedi came out 83. Yeah, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
To me, it was all in the past, and I had to discover it, whether it be my, older brother or older cousins or whomever playing with their toys and then figuring it out. Yeah, that Phantom Menace felt like it was made for me.
Yeah.
Because I was a teenager. What year did that come out? 96?
99.
99?
98?
98?
I don't know. 99.
Whatever it was. I stole from the theater, the little bitty marquee that they used to put in the lights, so the light would come through it. I stole that.
Nice.
Yeah.
You still have it?
Somewhere.
Nice.
It was not. I've got a lot of shit in our old shed that from my parents, which I know. I think the greatest day of my parents' life will be when I buy a condo or home, and they're just gonna have like a truck full of shit, and they're like, "Here you go, son.
Yeah, here's all your shit." Yeah, that's what I'm. I was telling you this before we went on air. That's what I'm dealing with right now. I'm like, I'm about to turn 30, and I'm still trying to get fucking toys out of my parents' house and VHSs. Toys and VHSs, like.
Yeah, mine is gonna be comic books and toys and figurines. Now, luckily, my younger brother, who has a badass man cave, I have a man, like, what would you call this? It's a
I called
cave.
it your troll cave earlier,
troll
but
cave, yeah.
I didn't mean it in a negative way.
That's
It's just
fine.
darker in here.
It's funny. So he has like an entire basement. So he has like man caves. But he's taken a lot of my stuff, which last time I went home, I was like, oh, sweet, I have that beast figurine. And he just, like, there was that awkward silence, and I go, that's mine!
That's my beast figurine.
He's like, do you want it back? And I'm like, no.
Belongs in your cave.
Fine, you got it. Ah, little bastard. Love him. I just love how he, at that moment of silence for like 3 seconds, where he realized, oh shit, I never told him that I stole it.
Yeah, I took it.
Yeah. I'll just, like, I didn't get him a birthday gift this year. So I was like, well, yeah, because you have my figurines, asshole.
Yeah, right, because you're using them for your cave.
So, back to Indiana Jones. You know what? I don't really want to go through scene for scene. Because,
No.
I mean...
We've seen it. We've all seen it.
But we can discuss, do you have a favorite character?
God, I mean... I could just sit and watch Indiana Jones. I love Harrison Ford in this movie.
Besides Indiana Jones. Maybe I should say that.
Like a side character?
Yeah.
Probably, what's Karen Allen character's
Ravenwood?
name? But what's...
Oh, you mean Marion.
Yes, Marion. I think she might be my favorite. I think Karen Allen is one of the most beautiful actresses to ever grace the screen, ever.
Indiana Jones. Always knew someday you'd come walking back through my door. I never doubted that. Something made it inevitable. So what are you doing here in Nepal?
I need one of the pieces your father collected.
I learned to hate you in the last 10 years.
I never meant to hurt you.
I was a child. I was in love. It was wrong and you knew it.
You knew what you were doing.
Now I do. This is my place. Get out! Mohan, Temigru, Bulianu.
I did what I did. You don't have to be happy about it, but maybe we can help each other out now. I need one of the pieces your father collected. Bronze piece about this size with a hole in it off center with a crystal. You know the one I mean?
Yeah, I know it.
Where's Abner? Where's Abner?
Abner's dead.
Also, she's so cool in this movie, too. So, double win.
Yeah, she pulls off the tough girl look and feel perfect, except when she runs. If you go and look, and I just discovered this yesterday, Sarah came in for... I love how almost every episode we get our girls into this, and mostly it's them, like, just coming through our area, and then she's like, what are you watching? And she came in during the run, I don't know, the basket run. And she goes, this just looks goofy. And I was like, how dare you? But then I kind of like paused and I'm like, yeah, Marion Ravenwood runs really weird.
I guess I never paid attention.
She runs with like her whole body.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's just, you have to
I
watch
never
it.
really looked out for that. Yeah.
Like she's running with the pan, and then, you know, when she goes, like the old comedic, this is totally Lucas too. Because Lucas is not very good at comedy, but he wants to always put comedy in.
Yeah, he does like broad cartoon comedy.
And she runs into the little nook of the door, and then the bad guy with the knife runs in, and then you hear dong, and then she comes out.
Yeah.
When she's running into the nook and running out of it to go to the basket, she just looks so goofy. Like she's never ran before.
Never ran like that before.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was a direction. Maybe that was a Spielberg direction.
Maybe it was.
Maybe it was like a character thing.
But it was definitely like dun 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 dun, and I'm like, oh, this is Lucas. Lucas doesn't know subtlety with his comedy at all.
Right.
But he also builds these vast worlds that are very serious.
Yeah.
So you're always like, you really need someone just to write your comedy for you. I'm sorry. You're great at world building. He's amazing at it.
Just don't let him be the screenwriter. That's all. Just to have
no dialogue, please.
That's enter Lawrence Kasdan writing this one, and thank God. And
yes.
We're still doing Star Wars movies today. So God bless him.
Yeah, Marion Ravenwood. That's a good side character.
Who's yours?
Mine is weird. Mine is Toht, Major Arnold Toht, the character actor, the sadistic German.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like him because that character actor, I've seen him in a lot of other 70s films that every once in a while I go, oh, it's Major Toht. And I can't know.
It's a Nazi.
Is it Toht or is it Toht? I don't know. They don't really say his name often.
No. He's just like the villainous figure
Yeah.
that like is just always lurking, but they don't call out to him that
But
often.
I feel like, I don't know if it's Lucas doing it or Spielberg or casting, whoever's doing it. Every movie, they have a like sadistic bad guy.
Yeah.
And I feel like in Temple of Doom, it's a short one. It's I mean, they have so many sadistic bad guys in that one. But at the very beginning adventure in the Temple of the Doom, they have a really weird looking... Are they in... I can't remember where they're at the first scene in Temple of Doom.
Not the opening scene. Not the
no, the opening scene.
Oh, the opening scene?
Yeah, I'm just going to say he's Asian descent. I don't know where he's from.
They're
we're
supposed
white
to be
kids from the Midwest. We don't know shit about that.
Yeah, they're supposed to be in some...
Yeah,
the land of the Orient.
He's
or
like
whatever.
really skinny and really odd looking, and he shoots Indy's friend. Like that guy, I always like his look, and I like Toht's look. And from the third one, I'm sure we can find someone, but I know there's someone. I'm just not remembering it. I just love their looks of their weird bad guys. I always like it.
Yeah, no, Spielberg always does that so well. Like memorable. Like characters.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like this guy had to have been thought out. This guy had to be like drawn head to toe so that we would have this memorable villain.
Yeah.
And it works because he is memorable. You can't forget his little glasses, you know, like his whole look. Can't forget it.
And apparently that role was offered to Roman Polanski.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, which I'm really glad he didn't do because it's I mean,
yeah, it's a creep. It would definitely change the
short little troll.
It would definitely change the way we would look at this movie if he was in there. That's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of my. Ravenwood is Marion's really good.
Yeah,
so it's a really good. I guess as a bigger side character, Sallah.
Which one? Oh, the Jonathan. Yeah. That was like the first time I had seen Rhys-Davies in a movie before, but now I've seen him in bajillions of movies.
Well, he's got a great voice.
Yeah.
And I always love how he's singing in this one when he's happy.
Yeah.
You said their headpiece only had markings on one side. You absolutely sure? Belloq staff is too long.
They're digging in the wrong place. I am the monarch of the sea. I am the ruler of the...
Bad dates.
He's just such a likable side character. And they did, because Temple of Doom was a prequel, he's not in that, but they brought him back for the third one.
Mm-hmm.
So I just remember him also from Sliders. Or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's honestly probably what I saw him in first, and then saw this. But you know, he's looked the same for 30 years too.
Yeah.
Like if he still shows up in some today, he's a little older looking, but he's still got that same look.
Do you think he's ever played a bad guy?
Oh, I'm sure. He's got a voice. He's got too good of a voice.
Because I would have a hard time casting him as a bad guy, because I'd be like, I just don't believe that you can pull it off. You're going to have to prove it. Because you're so likable.
I'm sure they have utilized his voice, his commanding voice for a villain at some point.
Maybe we should talk about the original casting of Indy.
Oh, yeah. Who was it again? Tom Selleck?
Yeah. It was the mustache himself.
Yeah.
There's test footage out there. I think YouTube has it somewhere. So Spielberg, after seeing Harrison Ford, he's like, why are we searching? That's Indy right there. Because Spielberg wanted a Bond, slick-looking guy. And Lucas was like, no, I do not want Harrison Ford in this. Harrison Ford is Han Solo. He's a pirate.
Yeah.
And Indiana Jones is a well-educated academic man who goes on adventures to collect things for museums. You know, he wants to keep history intact or, something like that. And Spielberg won, and thank God, because thank the movie gods, because he's perfect.
Yeah, he disappears really. Like when I see Harrison Ford in this movie, I don't think Harrison Ford. I'm like, that's Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
like that's his look, his mannerisms, the way he talks. I'm like, that's Indiana Jones.
Harrison Ford disappears in Han Solo until the newer ones. I'm not insulting. Jesus, when he dies, spoilers. Force Awakens. In Force Awakens, I always feel like that's Harrison Ford. Like to me, he didn't disappear as Han Solo. He just wasn't the same.
I think I was just willing to let him disappear as Han Solo. Like I was just so fucking excited for a new Star Wars movie. Yeah. I was like, it's Han Solo, yay! I think I made up my mind before I even saw the performance. So.
But what I'm saying is, like, most of these roles, he's so good at disappearing.
Yeah, when he cared. Not that, because I've seen some performances, more recent ones, where he does care, but I've definitely seen a lot where he doesn't. Where he's just like cashing a paycheck.
Yeah, and I just feel like Han Solo was so far away from him at that point when they did Force Awakens, and he wanted to die. It was kind of like part of his deal.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Yeah.
I'm tired of playing this character, and I'm tired of talking about this character.
Right.
I think he's not tired of Indy, though. I saw him in the documentary last night that I watched, where this is the one that came out during the Crystal Skull, and he's excited to play Indy.
And aren't they doing another one? Isn't happening? Aren't they doing 5 now?
Pretty
with him?
Sure.
I think it's happening. I don't know. I think so.
Whatever.
I'll see it. Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, I'll watch it, but I'll be the can't we just move on? I would really rather have Indiana Jones' son. I'm not saying bring Mutt back, but I actually didn't. I liked Mutt.
I like Crystal Skull.
Oh, I don't.
I liked it. I got the 50s sci-fi B-movie vibe from it, and I was like, I'm in.
No, I thought it was too much of hey, remember this?
That'd be what I'd worry if we did it today. I would think it'd be way worse.
Have you watched that lately?
No, I haven't seen it since it came out. But when it came out, I liked it a lot.
I couldn't make it through the movie. But that monkey scene where he's Mutt is... Okay, we're not going to shit. I'm not going to shit on it. I'm going to stay positive about Raiders. Okay. What I always forget about this is how mystical, magical this is at the end.
Yeah, Ark of the Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I kind of when I first fell in love with movies. What I loved it happened in a lot of 80s, 90s movies where your movie could be one genre, but at the very end, something's going to come in and make it weird and basically do another genre. And this is sci-fi horror at the end, basically, because the Ark of the Covenant, is this mystical supernatural force. So you've got the sci-fi element, and then you got face melting, which is, I think, the horror element. So I used to love when movies would just come in at the end and just do another genre.
Yeah, and I think this inspired so many special effects people to really go farther. And maybe we went a little too far before PG-13.
You know what? But I don't think so. I think this is more of a testament to us kind of just wussing out in society, because we all saw this as kids, and it's scary and it's crazy, but we're all fine. We all made it through watching this movie, and nobody got scarred for life from this. So,
yeah, it's just at a certain point, I think you need to logically warn, because I don't want to take a 5-year-old to see someone's face get melted off, because I don't want to deal with nightmares.
But they're going to turn out fine. I don't know.
I'm not saying they're not going to turn out fine, but you're going to give me a headache, and I'd rather them watch that at 10, where I can explain to them that's all fake.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it was explained to me when I was watching Tales from the Crypt, and it scared the shit out of me. And my uncle came home because I was babysitting, and a human trusts me to babysit. It was funny. At 12.
Yeah.
And they had HBO, so I watched it. And when he came home, he sat home, and I was telling him, and I was like, he could tell I was rattled from it. And he goes, "Listen, you know, when your aunt puts on makeup in the morning, or when your grandma does that and everything, he's like, that's just that, except by guys who make it look like they're dying. And, you know, I'm sure there was more into it, but I got it. I'm like, oh yeah, I completely understand. And that's when I became fascinated. Tales from the Crypt is what helped me become fascinated with how they do it.
Nice.
And my brothers we would just sit and try to figure it out.
And there's some incredible effects in that show.
In that show, and then, like, all of them. We had arguments. We would literally just yell at each other. You know, like, no, that's not how they did it this way. And, I mean, we had Fangoria later on when we traveled to the suburbs, which we always called the city, because we were in the middle of nowhere by Purina Farms. But when we traveled up, we started to get those old magazines, and we started to figure it out. And it was a little bit more of like the reveal, which kind of made us sad, but at the same time more fascinated.
Yeah, like it's a give and take there.
Yeah, and then when the internet came out, it was just like, well, I mean, nothing's a mystery anymore.
Right. Bummer, the internet.
Yeah.
Do you remember the episode of Tales from the Crypt that fucked you up, or no? Is it too far gone now?
It was... I think it was a blind guy who was like going through a hallway and he had to feel his way through. And
yeah. There's like a blind home it takes place in.
Yeah.
And like there's a guy fucking with all the blind people in there. Yep.
Yeah,
I know.
that one, that scared the crap out of me.
It's a good episode.
But I also have, I wouldn't say a fear, but the ones that mess me up the most are like when someone's held down and they can't do something, or when you take away like your ability to see or hear, like this sensory, or when you're immobile. Like that always freaks me out. And those are the only ones. Like the rest of the stuff, I'm like, I don't care.
It's just gore, whatever.
And snowmen, because they're the ultimate killers.
Yes.
They have, I mean, you make them, they kill you, they melt.
Yep.
How the hell do you get them?
You can't get them. Can't get them. They just keep coming back. Just like winter. Just keeps coming back every year.
That's why when I walk my dog, she barks at the snowman. I was like, you let him have it, Barf.
You know.
That's pure evil right there.
Oh. And here we are.
Yep, and here we are. Yeah, I mean, this movie, to get back into it, it's just watch it, enjoy it, and, you know, a big muscly guy gets ripped apart by a plane propeller.
Yep. That blood spray is pretty fantastic when he gets hit, and it just goes real fast across the side. So
now,
good.
see, maybe that's the type of comedy Lucas can do.
It's dark, though.
It is.
It's really dark comedy, but it's funny.
But I think it also might be Spielberg, because Spielberg likes more of the dark stuff.
Yes.
Lucas is much more of the, like, let's make it lighthearted and fun.
Yeah. Ewoks.
Ugh. Even as a kid, I was like,
Just an odd choice. We're going this route? All right.
I'm sure Spielberg watched it and looked over at him like, so, you really want to sell toys, huh?
Yeah, right. He's seeing the dollar signs here, and guess what? It worked.
And he gets $4 billion for Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about this movie.
No, it's a classic.
It's like,
and this one's also like, you know, you grow up with all of them. Everybody kind of has like sort of favorites, and I still think this is my favorite. You know, like I think there's definitely people that think Temple of Doom is their favorite. I know people who Last Crusade is their favorite. This one's my favorite.
Yeah, when it comes to a complete film, this is my favorite. But when it comes to risk-taking, Temple of Doom, like, I marvel at Temple of Doom, and I've watched it the most easily, because it's just chaos.
Yeah, I love Temple of Doom still. It's like, that's a close second for me. Yeah. But this is my favorite, but Temple of Doom is still great, too. They're doing so much weird shit in that movie.
I just can't believe. Now, that's two mega powers getting away with stuff, because that is not made for general audiences.
Yeah, it's a weird movie. And it's crazy.
Yeah, it did, like, the worst in the box office, I think. Probably I don't know if it did the worst on VHS, but it's got a hardcore audience, because I remember when the internet was coming out and everyone was saying, like, Temple of Doom is easily the worst. You know, like, critics would say it and all that. And I remember the hardcore internet audience is like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's my favorite one. And then you saw this, like, just hardcore defense for Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom really took like a Halloween 3 turn where it was the hated one, and now it's like just as beloved as the first one. Like,
well, because I think you just had an entire generation who grew up, and that or Gremlins is the movie that shocked you.
Yeah. Yeah. You saw something crazy in it that you weren't expecting to see in a movie like that. Like, yeah. Absolutely. And I'm really glad. A lot of people too, like nowadays, I've seen in 2008, my opinion of the Indiana Jones series was controversial, but I've seen a lot of people coming around to it now, where I actually would place, I like all 4 movies, don't get me wrong, but I'd actually place Crystal Skull over Last Crusade, not in terms of like being like a better movie necessarily, but the thing I put Last Crusade last for is because it's 40s again, it's Nazis again. Mm-hmm. It feels more like a 90s Spielberg movie and not like an Indiana Jones movie. So I always put that one last for sort of like the vibe I get from it. It's a good movie. I love it. I love the movie. But like I always put that last of the 4 because at least for me, Crystal Skull is doing, you know, whether it fails at it or not, it's doing like a thing that we hadn't seen the series do yet.
Yeah, I think The Last Crusade is the safe one.
Exactly. And that's why I put it last.
It was made for, you know, hey, you grew up watching this in 81. Bring your kids.
Yeah, now it's 92 or whatever, 90 or whatever it was. And like...
hey, it's got Sean Connery. You know who Sean Connery is.
Yeah, we got James Bond finally in our James Bond movie. Like...
yeah. And Spielberg gets to do another father thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. It's just like every beat in that movie is like... I've seen all of you guys do this already before. Whereas, like, 4, as wackadoo as it is, I'm like, well, at least I didn't know we were getting aliens. So
I think also The Last Crusade is the one TV had the easiest time putting it on.
Yeah, because it's safer.
It's safe.
There's no crazy gore. There's no crazy face melting.
You could rent it for your kids or buy it for your kids and never worry about them watching it. It was safe, and it was more for general audiences. It's shocking what they did in Temple of Doom.
Right.
Because it's like, I would have read that script and been like, this is awesome. You can't make this.
Yeah, how are you going to get this in theaters? But this fucker probably made so much money, they were like, whatever.
Frank Marshall's like, yeah, man. I mean, I wouldn't do this, but fuck it.
We're going to make so much fucking money. We're going to live forever.
The money on the first one, $18 million budget, which they got. They shot it in time, apparently. They shot it around the budget was supposed to be. And then it turns around and does $390 million.
Ooh, yeah, of course they got a second one.
Yeah.
Of course they got a second one.
And yeah, I'm sure Paramount was like, thank you, Lucas, for like demanding that Spielberg do all 3.
Yeah. Yeah. And then 2 probably happened and they were like, fuck. And that's why there was like a 6-year gap between that one and the next one.
I always feel like this is the movie where Spielberg turned into the powerhouse. I know he had Jaws, which was just amazing, and that put him on the map of like, this guy can make blockbusters, and he can make B-movie blockbusters. And then he got, you know, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I know E.T. is going to come up, and people are like, what are you talking about, Steve? E.T. was it. But I think Raiders was it, because it reached out to every... Maybe it was E.T. I don't know. I still think it's going to be Raiders. It just... He took a movie that was... He made it for $18 million, and this movie looks like a $50 million movie.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I 100%... this movie laid the groundwork for, like, the kind of Amblin age. This is the one. This is the one that led to the Goonies and Gremlins and...
See, that's funny, because I think E.T. led to the...
I think it's
I think this, Raiders, led to more of, like, the Jurassic Park.
I think I go here. I start here and I just go down. I think this is what laid the groundwork for Amblin and the Amblin age, all the way through to Jurassic Park, where it kind of then ended.
Yeah,
because then Schindler's came out and we were like, Spielberg's a whole different guy.
Oh yeah, he did Schindler's. It was Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Then he goes on to AI, which that one's got its own backstory.
Yeah.
I don't really count that as a Spielberg movie.
It's still a Kubrick movie, even
now.
Yeah, because he was just doing Kubrick. So
well, and the problem is that Spielberg can't be Kubrick.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was.
That's why
it was a losing situation.
Fails, but yeah, exactly.
But then when Spielberg gets in the 2000s, they're so up and down for me. He's all over the place for me from about 2001 on up. I don't know what to feel about Spielberg movie to movie. Sometimes I'm like, fuck yeah, Spielberg's back. And then other times I'm like, Yeah, this feels like Spielberg. Like, how long do I have to be on set?
I feel like at least in the more recent age, like in the last decade or 15 years or whatever, the ones I've liked the most of him have been the ones that I don't expect to like the most of him. Like, I wasn't as crazy about Ready Player One. I didn't hate it like you, or no, you didn't hate it, but I didn't dislike it like you did. Like it, yeah. I liked it, but like I feel like I liked like the War Horses and the Lincolns and stuff better because they were just solid movies. Like they were just good movies.
Yeah, Lincoln. I liked Lincoln. I haven't watched it since, but I watched it and I was like, damn, Daniel Day-Lewis, just calm down. You are entirely too good. But I haven't seen War Horse. I'll be honest.
It's good. It's good. Like, it's just a genuinely good movie.
I just there's the Ready Player Ones and stuff where I'm like, I just feel like Spielberg was sort of kind of into it. And he's like,
I guess I'm the guy to do it. But it's like, did we need to do it at all?
Yeah, let's see what other stuff.
I like The Post. The Post was good.
Yeah. Bridge of Spies, I didn't.
Bridge of Spies was okay.
Yeah.
Tintin was okay.
I didn't like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I liked Munich.
I
thought War of the Worlds.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'll say this about War of the Worlds. There's some incredible stuff in there, but the whole picture is a flawed thing. But there's some good stuff there.
Yeah, Catch Me If You Can, Minority Report. That's when the AI, Artificial Intelligence, Minority Report, and Catch Me If You Can. I like Minority Report, but like The Terminal, War of the Worlds, we get into this part of Spielberg where I'm like, they're just not doing it for me.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I like Minority Report a lot, but yeah, Catch Me If You Can, Terminal, I don't care. War of the Worlds I like half of. Munich I like a lot. Tintin's okay.
I never saw BFG.
I never saw BFG either. Yeah. It seemed like the kind of Spielberg movie to see. It seemed like it was probably closest to like Hook or something like that, which we already talked about. I fucking love Hook. But I never saw it. I never went and saw it. No. One of these days. I'll come around to it.
Oh, Amistad. That's one. There you go. When we get into the Schindler's List, Amistad, Saving Private Ryan, it's just like, whoa.
And he throws a Lost World right in the middle of those, too.
Yeah.
And that's a turd. That's a not... I tried to watch it again recently, and it does not hold up at all.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff in there, because, of course, it's Spielberg. He knows how to make a movie. But, like, overall... whole thing is kind of hard to sit through.
I used to defend that movie, and then I watched it, and I was like, ooh, this is so commercialized.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like Spielberg trying to do what he used to be doing when he's in a different phase. So he's just sort of like reflecting on what he used to do, and it's like, no, just do your new thing. Like, your new thing's working.
Yeah, I mean, just don't try to be young Spielberg, be old Spielberg.
Yeah.
I'm middle-aged at that point, whatever.
I'm curious to see what he's going to do next. It says he's doing West Side Story next, which I do not. I fucking hate that movie. So, I'm not really looking forward to that.
Wow.
But,
West Side Story. I don't care either way. I've never heard anyone say I hate that movie.
It's just so long, and it's just not my thing. Like, it's just not. I love musicals, but not that kind of musical. Like, I don't know.
Who did West Side Story?
That was the 60s Robert Wise musical.
Was it?
Yeah.
Why the hell is Spielberg doing a musical?
Why not? I guess. We'll see. What if it's incredible? What if it's just like, fuck, like you should have been doing this all along?
Yeah, it's like the new Spielberg in his 70s is like, I love musicals.
I'm gonna do old Hollywood musicals now, and I'm like, all right, fuck, it's working. I guess. Next year we'll find out, I guess. We'll have to do a podcast on it. Now that we talked about it for so long, now we have to like do a West Side Story.
I don't have West Side Story. Do you?
No. This one, the new one, when this drops. Like, we've been talking about it so much.
I have no interest in that. But yeah, maybe it will be great. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
It's just another remake. Oh boy.
Yeah, exactly. An unnecessary musical reboot.
Yeah, who the hell was clamoring for that? Other than people are like, we need money.
Yeah, we need another West Side Story.
I need more cocaine.
Yeah. But Raiders, what a classic. Just a stone cold classic. I could watch, the movie over and over again. I could watch the scenes, the big scenes. him shooting the guy when he does the sword. It's great. Love it.
Because he was sick.
Yeah. Anything with the snakes, it's funny every time. He hates snakes, but it works.
Yeah.
The guy in the blade is fucking awesome. The melting faces are incredible.
Yeah,
you'll watch that over and over and over again and never get tired of it.
And Indiana Jones punching a Nazi.
Yep,
love it.
It's satisfying every time.
Yeah,
we need it. We need Indiana Jones more now than ever today.
Yeah, I always find it interesting that Lucas didn't want to bring Marion back because he wanted Indiana Jones to have a different girl a love interest each time. And Spielberg was not on board with that. But it did make sense when Spielberg kind of put together the story of the Temple of Doom. He's like, no, it's going to be a prequel. I want to go back.
Right, so she wouldn't be in it.
Yeah.
Then he met his wife.
Yeah, Spielberg did. Which was funny. I mean, it's the first 2 movies of this have Spielberg, the ladies of Spielberg, is Amy Irving was going to play Ravenwood. Marion Ravenwood.
And did they just break up at this time then?
I don't know how that didn't work out, but several actresses were going to play Marion. But I know Spielberg really liked her when he saw her in Animal House.
Karen Allen?
Yeah, Karen Allen. And I think what really sold it was the chemistry between Harrison Ford and her.
There really is something so striking about Karen Allen. I just feel like she was like one of the first... probably before I saw this movie, I probably saw Scrooged. When I saw Scrooge the first time, I just just pure innocent little kid fell in love with her in that movie. And then seeing her in this, and she's a badass. You love her. She's hilarious. And Animal House. So
she had a wide range. I mean, she could play tough. She could be comedic. She can be pretty. I mean, she can basically do it all.
Yeah, I'm curious why she didn't sort of have more of a bigger career. She had a good career. She
worked. She had a solid career.
She worked, but I'm, why she's not kind of talked about as one of the all-time greats, I don't know, because she's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and she's in a lot of huge movies like Animal House, Indiana Jones, The Lost Ark, and then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I don't know. I don't think the 90s were good to her.
Yeah, maybe that's just it, but it's a shame because she's great. She's wonderful.
The Karen Allen podcast.
I'm going to go start that by myself. It's just going to be me talking about these 3 movies with Karen Allen and how much I love her.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Indiana Jones, she pretty much stole the show.
I think that's why I say she's my favorite side character. Another weird sidebar. So last night I watched this. I went out for a little while, and then when I came back just to kind of wind down, I watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. I haven't seen it in 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, just for funsies, threw it on. I haven't seen it in a long time. I probably haven't seen it in 25 years. I haven't seen it probably since...
Is this the old clamshell one that I have?
Oh, you got it over here somewhere?
I thought I did. Whatever. Maybe it's up there. I'm not looking.
Yeah, and it's the Ivan Ooze is the villain in that. That's Paul Freeman, who is also in this movie. He is the rival archaeologist. In Belloq or something like that.
Belloq? The French archaeologist?
Yeah. So he's Ivan Ooze in
No way.
Crazy connection that I made last night that I didn't even realize it.
Belloq is such an interesting bad guy because he's on the same level as Indiana Jones in a way, where he's an archaeologist who goes out to find stuff, but he's more of the I'll do anything to get it. But I think he's doing it for the adventure, and he's just working for Hitler because he doesn't care.
Yeah. That's another thing I like about Spielberg movies is that you always have a secondary villain who's also shitty. You have the iconic the image of the villain in the movie, but then you always have a second human bad guy. The guy in Jurassic Park, the hunter guy is in there. He's not really a bad guy, but he's kind of your second tier. And you've got what's his name from Seinfeld is also the other human bad guy in that.
Well,
but then you have the dinosaurs.
Yeah, you're right. No, there's
he always does that well.
It's layered bad guys. With this one, you had Belloq, who's kind of the intelligent bad guy. Then you had the Germans with Toht or whatever his name is, the sadistic one. You had the muscle German, and then you kind of had the main leader German guy. I don't even know his name. I've never known it, but he gets his face melted at the end. Where he's like overseeing it, but Hitler's actually the main bad guy, and he's never shown.
Right.
Which is really funny because he's the one trying to go out and capture all these religious relics, and the reason they want, the Ark of the Covenant is because any army who travels with the Ark is invincible. I don't know how, because you can't control the weapon, but whatever. I guess he could just
what a
whatever.
Cool plot.
Yeah,
like, what a cool plot of a movie. To just be like, well, the Nazis want this supernatural thing because it's going to protect them. I'm like, what a genius plot. Good. If that came from Lucas, good fucking job.
No, it's Kaufman. Kaufman came up with the Ark.
Oh,
so
genius.
So Lucas had the whole plan of like he's going to be battling Nazis. The Nazis want something. Like he had an overarching story, but he needed all the gaps filled in. And I guess Kaufman knew, like, he was always fascinated by and Lucas wanted a religious artifact, but he just didn't know what. And so he's just like, well, the Ark of the Covenant, I always heard it from like my barber as a kid, and he was fascinated with it, and they stuck it in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it worked so well because it was like one of these things that I think a lot of us had kind of in the back of our mind knew about, with the Ten Commandments, and yada yada. But it's not. It was never in the forefront of anything. It's like no one was sitting around talking about, like they do in the third one with the cup of Jesus Christ, where he drank, and that was from the Last Supper, I think, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
They do a really good job of finding these artifacts that when you hear about it, you're like, oh, well, of course we'd all know about that.
Yeah.
But before then, you never would have thought about it.
Right. They're like sort of like in the background of pop culture, but like, yeah, they really just bring them to the forefront. But
I just love how you call the religious artifact pop culture.
Is it not though?
I don't know. I don't know.
I would think something like the Ark of the Covenant. I mean, it's stories, right? And so it's pop culture.
Is that? I mean,
it's religion, but it's also pop culture. Like it's both. I think.
I thought pop culture didn't start until Andy Warhol.
Oh, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
the genesis of pop culture. And it isn't religion just the first pop culture.
Well, it's just popular culture, right? What's popular in culture? So yeah, I guess
religion
you're right. Yeah,
was the first example of pop culture.
You heard it here, folks.
You heard it. We're digging out some good stuff here. We're really.
Well, it's an overarching. So this is going to be a long one. Just get used to it, people. Sorry, but that's what we do.
Yeah,
we babble.
Well, I was taking a look at, because I knew this was 101, and it's funny, like, you can always tell the episodes we're going to have long ones on. Because I was just scrolling through all the recent ones, I'm like, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, I'm like, yeah, of course that one's an hour and 15 minutes, RoboCop,
Yeah.
Of course Super Mario Brothers is an hour and a half, like, of course.
I know, Super Mario Brothers is like 2 hours.
Oh, whatever, yeah.
And it's one of our most downloaded ones.
You can always tell when we're going to have a long one. Yeah. So. I think the next couple are going to be a little shorter. And then we'll get another one like this thrown in there, and we're going to talk for 6 hours about it.
Yeah. And I do wonder, looking back at 101 episodes, I mean, it's amazing how fast it's gone.
Yeah. I mean, what do we start this? We're coming up on 2 years that we started this, because October.
Yeah. October, yeah.
And we're in August right now, so we're 2 months shy of 2 years of doing this. And yeah, it both feels like 2 years and like yesterday. Somehow it feels like both.
I was listening to our Evils of the Night on accident last night because I was going through our YouTube to see what has had the most, not so much what's had the most views, but what's had the most listening time. And that one has a lot of listening time, which I was like, why? And
probably because nobody else is talking about it.
Maybe. I was just listening to it and I'm like, how much our audio has improved and just our back and forth. It's amazing because now we bounce off each other so fast that I forget how fast we talk until someone mentions it.
I think I feel like in the first few episodes, like the Evils of the Night, we were like, let's try not to talk over each other, and we don't do that or anything like that, but like now we know, like, okay, that's what he just said, that's what I'm gonna say, now we have that bounce. But before it was just like, all right, wait for him to totally finish that thought, all right, go.
Yeah, and we try to explain the movies more, almost like we're doing commentary. And now we're just like, whatever, watch it.
You've seen it. Or if you haven't seen it, we'll tell you the stuff that you need to know about it.
Yeah, because this one, we touched a little bitty parts all over the movie, like a pervert.
Oh, weird. Okay. All right, we're here.
Oh, also, here's something. I no longer filter what I say as much because I feel like there's no real harm to it. I'm not going to say anything like, I'm not racist, so I won't say anything racist. But like other day I go, you know how I hate women.
Yeah, and you were obviously talking about like
Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Like you hate women because you didn't like Captain Marvel. Yeah.
I used to cut things out because I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want Matt to say that. Ooh, I don't know if I want to say it. Now I'm like, it's a joke. Get over it.
Yeah. I found myself filtering myself more over the years, not because of like saying something offensive, but because like I just feel like for a while in the middle, something I would say, whether it be like political or whatever, was so just expected. Like, now I'm like, you don't need to say it. Everybody knows you hate Republicans. You don't need to say it.
Or at least you hate the movie Republicans that are actual real Republicans.
Yeah. So I don't need to say it anymore. So I filter out sort of what you know already about me.
Yeah.
That's what's changed for me over the last...
We don't mention Trump as much because who cares about that douchebag?
Yeah, we're just having fun here now. We're just loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
I like it. I like where we have come in 2 years, in 100 episodes. I like where we're at now. I feel really comfortable about, sharing our opinions of the movies we're watching. Like I really feel like we're nestled in a good spot here.
Yeah, and then watching a movie where a Nazi gets punched in the face is amazing.
Yeah, and we can still bring that up.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
Because we gotta. Punching Nazis, still cool.
Still, one of the best stories we have is where someone who got mad at one of our comments tried to get, put warning shots on all of our YouTube.
Oh yeah, they tried to take us down because we said something. We had a really hot episode, I think, one time.
Probably.
Oh, the Star Wars one. We were taking down the trolls, or was it a Marvel one? It was a Marvel one or a Star Wars one where we were fucking attacking the trolls in the basement, and they went back. They came back after us, but we had no cause to be taken down or anything.
That had to be one person who was just like, fuck these liberal bastards.
Yeah, one person with too much time on their hands that wanted to bury us.
Yeah, and just click, and it was funny too because right when I fought back, it only took 2 days, and they're like, it's fine.
Yeah, we didn't say anything crazy. We were just making fun of shitty people.
Yeah, some assholes.
And that guy came after us, and he basically called himself out of being one of those turds. So
it was really weird. And all the comments we've got on YouTube, so most of them I erase because they're just I don't want them there. I'm not really trying to censor what people are to say, but when someone goes, you guys are assholes, I just throw it out.
Yeah, there's no need.
Now, if they say you guys need to be better at this, if there was constructive criticism, I'd keep it any day of the week.
Yep.
But when it's just pure hate, I slice it out. But I do love on the YouTube comments that you get people all around the US or Canada, the world, whatever. And it's fun to see because someone the other day, and I thought this was so funny, I admit it too, I like Copycat more than Seven. And I just cracked up.
Thank you for being a friend of mine on a commenter out there.
I don't know who it was, but yeah, somewhere Matt is told you.
Yep. We're going to bring Copycat back to the forefront. Actually, it's playing one of the big sort of genre things is in New York. They play I think it's just called scary movies or something like that. It's a series of late night screenings of new horror movies and retrospective and stuff. And they do, all kinds of, they had Blood Paradise, or one of the ones we played at Horrorama this year. They did at their series or whatever. This year for their series, they have Copycat on 35 that they're going to be playing. And I'm like, it's fucking getting its due. It's coming. Copycat's coming around.
I'm pretty sure on the podcast I remember saying wow, this movie's so much better than I thought it would be.
Right? Copycat.
Yeah.
Guys, If you haven't listened to that episode yet, you're sleeping on Copycat. You gotta get it.
It shocked me because it's one of our most It's top 10 episode.
Oh, is it?
Copycat.
What's our number one? Is it still Urban Legend?
No, it's Bill and Ted. Yeah.
Oh, fucking God. Did we do Bogus Journey yet?
Nope.
Oh,
I don't have the tape, but you do.
I don't have the
tape. No, you don't have the tape?
I don't have the tape. That's why we probably never did it, but we gotta do it soon. We'll do it when the third one comes out.
We gotta find that tape next week.
Yeah. I'm gonna be looking at that. We got a tape thing coming up in Chicago next weekend, so
that is Bogus Journey needs to be found.
We need to do that one for sure because I had the first one on tape and you did too. We both had it. I think.
The first one.
But yeah, I've never owned the second one on tape. I have the DVD, but I never owned the second one on tape. So it's time, I think.
Have they started recording the new one?
Yeah, it's filming. It's already in.
Yeah. Oh, you hear Parf?
That's how excited I am about Bill and Ted 3. Like, I want to cry. I'm so excited.
Yeah, she came over. Another thing that was funny throughout our time, we've lost our third co-host because Tulip.
Yes, has moved to different rooms.
Yes.
Not in the same room with us anymore.
She just didn't agree with some of our opinions on movies and decided to leave.
Yep, she left us. And I think she's happy you're not listening to us yap.
Yeah, probably. Now, this will be the last thing I have a question on. Do you like it more that we pick a movie off the cover, or do you like more of the themed?
Maybe cover if I had to pick. Like, I don't mind the theme. I think when we do themes, it's fun. But like sometimes just randomly like looking at a shelf or like picking up a movie at a random, like a video store or like a tape sale or closing down store or whatever, finding a cool tape with a cool cover and just being like, let's watch this next week. I think that's a little more exciting for me than themes because I've never been much of a theme person. I just like random shit. So like, but the themes we have done have been fun. Like Noirch was one that I was really big on when we did Noir March. But like, yeah, I think covers for me. Do you have a preference to swinging?
I have a lot of covers that I want to do, but I also find it easier to pick them off themes just because there's a lot. And I'm like, if they're all off covers. So like, but it's funny. The next ones that we're doing, which are animations that I picked, the reason I did animations is because I want to do Wizards because this movie's so weird. The movie's so weird, but the cover's just like a person on the front.
Yeah.
The wizard on the front, the hitman. And so we're doing that. I won't... we're doing Wizards, but I won't tell the rest. But that's how I picked them.
Nice.
And then another one, I was just like, well, I know Matt hasn't seen this, and we've talked about it. And then the third one, did I pick 3?
You picked 3.
Yeah. The third one, I was just like, okay, this one.
I've got this animation tape. And I'm excited to talk about those, and I think they were fun picks, and I think our listeners will really like all 3 of those picks. So, themes work too. I think lately, though, when you've been giving me the option to pick, I've just been dartboarding it, being like, I want to watch this one, I want to watch this one, I want to watch this one, and I want to watch this one. And that's, when we did RoboCop and Total Recall, they go hand in hand because they're Verhovens, but I was just like, I just want to watch these movies. I want to rewatch RoboCop, and I've never seen Total Recall, so let's do it. Like,
yeah, I thought you were just going with straight mayhem.
Yeah, but
which they are.
I think that's just my taste in general. The more mayhem, the better.
Yeah. So it should be interesting. Like we picked our theme for October. I'm not going to say that. You're going to have to wait for that one, come back in a month or whatever. I like it, and I think you and I definitely will like it. We'll see what the listeners think.
Well, I hope we have a lot of downloads for the listeners because I think it's a good like polarizing subject that like some people will hate and some people, but everybody will listen. You know what I mean? Like
Hopefully.
It's a good one people will want to listen to, even people that don't like the movies we're talking about.
Yep. I got 2 reactions right away. One was like, and then they thought about it and they're like, that might work.
I think having a full 4-week discussion on it's going to be really good.
But it's not Halloween related, so I think we need to do one scary movie.
A Halloween episode.
Yeah. I just have no idea what that is.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. We got all September, too. We have to figure... Or no, will these be running then in September?
No, they'll be...
No, the animations. Do those come out? Yeah, right. Those would be. We got like 2 weeks or something. We still have to figure out, and then we start the October theme.
Which we'll just. That's ones we.
Those
will
be just 2 dartboard ones for sure.
It's been fun. Before we get to an hour, we basically are an hour and a half. Let's wrap it up. So that's celebration of episode 100 on episode 101. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, recommend Raiders, of fucking course, but if you haven't seen it, like, what rock have you been living under?
Okay.
Like...
Here, let's go into our museum.
This is the second time I've had to reclaim my property from you. That belongs in a museum. So do you.
This is the part of the show where we put something in our museum, good or bad. Guess what? It's the entire fucking movie.
Agreed. And if you were going to ask me, that's literally what I was going to say. Yeah, the whole movie.
Easiest museum ever.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is the museum. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, we are the Raiders of the Lost Ark here. Like, the Lost Ark is our museum, so.
Yeah, the entire movie's in the museum. You know you can catch us on Facebook. Hopefully we respond. Matt sometimes does emails. It's been a while. I haven't even looked at our emails.
I looked at it. There wasn't anything new.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but that was like a month ago.
Yeah.
But
I feel like they just people communicate more on our YouTube channel.
I never checked those. So maybe I should just start checking those and commenting random things on there too.
Yeah.
Because
apparently they agree with you more than me.
On Copycat at least, which thank God. Like I'm not saying Seven's a bad movie. I'm just saying Copycat's better.
Catch us on email, analogjones@gmail.com. And hey, we've had a blast.
Here's to another 100. You know, let's keep it going. Thank you for listening. Thank you for helping. We wouldn't have if we had like 0 listeners. I probably still would have done it anyway. But like, thank you anyway for listening and getting us to 100 and all your comments and all your support. Like, we listen, we see it, we hear it, and we appreciate it. So keep telling your friends about us. You know, especially the VHS nerds. Keep getting the word out to the other VHS nerds that we are one of you. We are amongst you. So keep spreading the word. But thanks for everything up until this point. So it's appreciated.
Yeah, it sure is. Lastly, remember to be kind.
Rewind.